Sometimes characters pop up in one or two episodes and they're memorable. I mean, the best one episode wonder for me is Farisa in season two's Can't Believe the Hype. That's the one in which Hazel tries to get rid of her Somalian heritage to be Jamaican, but Farisa calls her out. And unfortunately, Farisa, with her presentation on International Day about Iraq, gets blasted by other students. And of course, Hazel's made a suspect. But Farisa was a pretty good character, and I wish we got to see more from her. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes one episode wonders is not really the best. But I mean, when you got like Billy Ray Cyrus making an appearance in the season three finale, which was pretty impressive, it's great. But what if I told you there was a character in season four who we wish was a one episode wonder, but he was a two episode wonder, if you will, and he was in the worst possible situation. I mean, his character was put in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because season four, of course, was doing the journey about the whole Rick situation and how, the aftermath is affecting people. But let's not forget that, from every corner that, Degrassi tried to be as ethical as possible, but unfortunately, they didn't really do this character justice. They tried to make him one of the best Asian characters in Degrassi history, but he ended up only being part of two episodes, and basically, we all love Kendra before that's it. Anyway, let's talk about this guy. This episode is Chester Bloom, we hardly knew ye. For the best. So why the heck did Degrassi bother to put this guy in season four when it was a highly contentious season in the first place? I mean, yes, we had the Rick Murray situation and everyone playing a role in it, except for possibly Manny and Liberty, but they do play a bit role later. But I mean, season four also had the fact that Dean was back in Paige's life because Paige made the court case against Dean and was going to get her day in court and wasn't sure if she should share her problems because Spinner would probably freak, but Spinner says you're in too deep. Also, you got the fact that, Craig got money from his deceased other and Joey's business was failing and Joey was about to lose his house and wanted Craig to donate some money to him, but Craig balked. You also had the whole drama with Caitlyn coming back in Joey's life after being away from Africa and just finding Joey's house and basically probably waving it in Joey's face. You had Craig's bipolar issues and everything else. But this guy, Chester, made his Degrassi debut in the one episode possible, and that was Bark at the Moon. Of course, Bark at the Moon is famous for being the episode in which um, we had the triple plot. We had Manny actually having the hotspot with Spinner, which was unusual because I thought Spinner would be with Paige, especially trying to help Paige out with the whole car thing. But Paige was with Mr. Olander, and plot line number three was when Raj was let go. Anyway, Chester actually manages to flirt with Manny Santos because she's in denial about her relationship with Spinner. So anyway, he comes up with the idea of the cubit stance as Hatzalakos wants Marco and Paige. Well, it ended up being Marco and Manny because Paige was too busy with Olander to try to drum up support and try to help the school heal from the situation, saying the school board did their job. Now it's our turn to do ours. Well, the school board did their job to get rid of Radich, but I think the school board also probably thought twice because they probably were guilty too of the problems too. So anyway, yeah, uh, Manny comes up with that cubic stance and all that. Manny actually was trying her best to pair up with Chester because she doesn't think she should be with Spinner. Unfortunately, she is paired with Danny Van Sant, you know, um, Liberty's brother, and Danny wants to go through with him. But basically, Manny tells Danny, I used to babysit you. Well, Chester's paired with Darcy Edwards. Darcy, the old one. But anyway, Manny breaks up with Spinner when he runs late to the dance, and she proceeds to flirt with Chester. They dance together, and Manny humiliates him, so he leaves her on the dance floor. Chester starts to kiss Manny, but Manny realizes that she wanted Spinner instead. And of course, Manny was afraid to ruin the relationship with Spinner. But then the next episode was Eye of the Tiger, and the relationship was ruined thanks to Spinner being outed for what he did to Jimmy. Now, of course, to be fair, Spinner had no clue that there was a gun, but still. So yeah, so Manny and Chester were going to get together and all that. So anyway, in Modern Love, I don't remember the episode that which was the Modern Love was the one in which um Paige and Olander are actually um outed and all that. So it was just unreal. So anyway, yeah, that was when the Modern Love was when Paige and Olander are outed. And basically Olander tells people that Paige was the needy one in the situation and not Olander. And finally, Olander finally decides to come clean and all that. So in Modern Love, we find out that Chester and his family are actually the new next door neighbors to Emma. Unfortunately, Emma decides to have a girls' night to try to get away from boys. And after all, the whole shebang with Jay causing trouble. They actually call Emma a hoe. Anyway, Manny, Darcy, Shantae, and Emma decide to decorate their Christmas tree outside their house in tampons. Emma gets caught by the police, but no charges are pressed. And Chester basically said that the prank war would be there, and actually got a couple of talked about his two brothers, Chuck and Chad. So yeah, all C's: Chester, Chuck, and Chad. So Philip Nosuga, Nosuka, was a pretty decent actor and all that. Chad and Chuck were actually played by Philip's real life brothers Justin and George Nosuka. So anyway, it's like shocking 2 episodes. Yeah, Modern Love. Can't forget about this one. It is actually the strangest episode. This is actually the strangest episode in which, after this episode, Chester and his brothers go into the Degrassi black hole. Was it for the best? I think so. It was like, why would he be in for like 1 or 2 episodes and all that, especially Bark of the Moon? Anyway, so anyway, it was unbelievable and all that. So I did a Degrassi post a week plus ago, and this is being taped on November 3rd, 2025. That says, I just can't get why Chester was put in. And I said, Guy had no chemistry. He flirted with multiple female characters. He didn't add much to any story and went poof after like 3 episodes. Was he supposed to add something to the storyline? Like Emma's PTSD? Guy was more forgettable than Kendra Mason. At least she added something to a storyline. Toby's romance storyline. Thoughts? Somebody said this show has an abundance of useless slash underdeveloped characters. Um, Lots of people basically said that um, they had to remember read the post to remember who the fuck Chester was. So yeah. Anyway, that Independent did say, I think they often try out characters before making them official mainstays. Usually, a character on the show a season or so before they make the main titles, like Hazel, Marco, Ellie, Jay, and Alex. It's actually uncommon for a new character to immediately become a main cast member. They tried everything and all that. They had plans for Chester going forward, making him Emma's neighbor and all that, but I don't know why they changed his mind. They probably test. So anyway, yeah, he does give a welcome to the grassy line and all that. And somebody says some recurring characters were brought in as an attempt to bring in underclassmen as a catch aged up. And we see in season 6 and 7 how unprepared the show really was. And they said there was a lot of flops and all that. And someone said he was meant to be an early prototype for Peter or be a main character in season 5 instead of Peter. So anyway, um, Chester actually ended up being an early example of what could happen to characters who are introduced on the show and then fizzle away, like Blue, Leah, and a few other people. So yeah, it was. Yeah, a lot of people said that it was a prototype for what Peter would serve in season 5. They probably set him up as a foil and teased him and Emma having a relationship down the line. The way I look at it with Chester is that maybe, yeah, maybe they thought that putting him with Emma would be big because, Emma didn't really have a relationship with another male till Peter in season 5. And then, of course, when Sean left, Emma, we all could see it. Emma wanted Sean because, after all, Sean saved her from a gun. Like, come on, you really think that would be necessary? But it is. And then, of course, Emma doesn't really have it. Yeah, she has a relationship with Jay, but it's basically an emotional relationship to try to get her mind off the shooting and almost dying for trying to save Rick's bacon. So to me, I feel that Chester could have added more, but 2 episodes and basically what does he do? He's basically there for Manny to try to take her mind off Spinner, and then Manny realizes that she should be with Spinner. And then all of a sudden, of course, Spinner blows it the next episode by having him be outed for what uh, he and Jay did to Jimmy and get Jimmy under Rick's nose. And then, of course, Modern Love, the backup thing. Yeah, the subplot to a very memorable episode in which Paige and Olander's relationship is finally outed. It just boggles the mind why Chester would be there. So I think the more we don't care about Chester, the better. I'm sorry, Phil Nosuka, but you're out. Sayonara. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.